I bought this text, and this is the text that we're going to be using for the lesson to create our vintage sign. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to duplicate the text layer 3 times. My top layer is going to be white. This is my highlight, so I'm going to select that and fill the layer, which will highlight it. Shadows and highlights sit opposite sides of each other, so it just depends where you want your highlight to sit. Your shadow will sit the opposite side. For this, I'm going to choose to have my highlight sit slightly to the right, and I mean it is ever so slightly. You don't want it to go too much like that because it's difficult to read. So just like that and up. So I'll select this layer, go to your middle layer, select, and then go to your white layer and go clear. So that puts the highlight on the top of the text. Now I'm going to do the same for the bottom, but at the moment our shape color is black. So if I just click on the shape color, and I'm going to duplicate this, and the top layer of the 2 shapes, I'm going to change that to cream. So select and fill. It's not quite cream. Let me just go there to make it a cream. So select and fill there. So it's just a nice creamy color. I just wanted to make the border in this little frame, I also want that red. And again, exactly what I've done for the text, I'm going to be doing for this little frame layer, because the shadow and the light will be coming from the same place. So while I'm there, I'm just going to duplicate that, and I'm going to go back to white, and I'm going to make this top frame layer again just ever so slightly, okay, just, and I need to go up a bit, right, there you go. So I'll select my bottom layer because that layer is not changing, so select, and I'm going to go to my top white layer, and I'm going to go clear. So there's the same shadow effect is happening on both of them. I'll go back to my text layer, and on this layer I'm going to be adding the shadow. So if I just go and I make this text black, that's the bottom layer, so make that black, and while I'm at it I'm going to do the same, duplicate the frame layer, and I'm going to do the same for that. So I'll just fill that in. Back to my text layer. Sorry, I'm going backwards and forwards, but it is easier. Now this is going to be to the bottom and to the right. So to the bottom and to the right. Again, ever so slightly. So I'm going to select my top text. That's the text. So I'm selecting that. And I'm going to select my black, and I'm going to go clear, and that will have cleared the black layer away. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the frame. So again, here's the frame, so this is down and slightly to the right, okay, just tiny little amount. So go back to your middle layer, the layer that's not changing, go select and go clear, and that clears it. So I'm going to just merge the frame layers together, and I'm going to merge, let's just see, I think I've done too many, back, merge those 2 layers together, so that is my frame layer. And then I'm going to merge my 3 text layers together, so that's the same thing happening there. I also have a little ornament. Let me just find it. and I'm just going to not like that, just resize it, and it's just going to sit in the actual circle or semicircle part of the design, and I'll duplicate that and I'll flip it over. Right, and I'm not actually going to be giving this any special treatment. I mean, you can if you want, you can make it like the text, but it's not really necessary. And then I'm just going to move the text a little bit. That looks about right. Just a little mark there I need to get rid of. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to treat the text, the text layers, the ornament, and this frame here, all as one. So I'm going to just pinch them all together. So I have 3 layers. I have this layer here, which is my text and my ornament layer. I have my cream layer, and then I have my black layer underneath that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to import my 2 textures. So this is one of my 2 textures. You may have to just play around and resize it. And then that's my light one, and then my darker text there, and the same thing for that, just like that. Now I'm just going to hide the lighter text. The darker text, what we're going to do is you're going to click on it, you're going to select, and down at the bottom you're going to invert. So you need to do this on this particular one. You've got to do this twice, so that the horizontal lines are in the actual design, not on the outside. So I'll just hide that, and then I'm going to go to my cream layer, and I'm going to go clear. And so what that has done is it's imprinted itself on my cream layer. I'm going to do the same for my text. So back to my dark layer. I'm going to again, let's just make sure that I've got that right. No, let's just select, sorry. Make sure it's on the inside. I can see the diagonal lines on the inside of the design. So I'm just going to hide that. I'm going to go to my text layer, and I'm going to go clear. Now I know it's very subtle, but it is there. You see, you can see the texture sitting there. That's great. That's exactly what we want. I'll keep that hidden now because we're done with that. And then I'm going to show the lighter of the textures. So this time I'm going to go select, and I'll just hide that. And then I'm going to go back to my cream layer, and I'm just going to go clear. And that's what it's done. It's actually taken the color away. See, you know, if I change the background, you'll see that. I mean, this particular background is not the background that we're going to end up with. So go select and go full. So, you know, it will change. And also the good thing about that is that it's affected all of the layers, you know. I'll just go back there again, so go select, right, hide that, and go clear. No, not like that. So select, and go clear. Right, so what it's done is it's eaten into the actual sign, and that's what we're looking for. So this has now just made our sign, you know, the distressed and worn effect is right the way through. It's from the lettering right the way through to this here, that background colouring that we've got going on over there. Now to take this one step further, if I just create a new layer above my my cream layer, and this time I'm going to choose brown, a brown of sorts, right? There. Right. And I'm just gonna, it doesn't really matter which brush you choose, but I'm gonna go along and I'm gonna create a bit of messiness, right? And I'm just going to take my sponge finger or my finger and I'm going to rub. Now just remember that we're on our own layer, so whatever I've done to the other layers I will need to come back and do it to this layer as well. So just keep rubbing, create a bit of smoothness along the edge, along there. I think it probably needs a bit of messiness going on over there, probably, you know, in all of these lower letters here as well, maybe on the top and along there, definitely there. Right, so I want the colour to kind of just carry on playing around with it like that. This is just using, as I said, it's just using a brush just to create a smoother line. It's not going to really matter that much. And I think I'm just going to go a bit darker with my pen, with my paint, right? Oops, not like that. Just like that. Okay. Back to my blending finger and just rub it in, right. It's been touched, it's been, and then what I'll do is I'm going to go with a colour lighter than the cream, right? I'm going to do the same thing, right? Just there and there, maybe not there, just along there. Okay. And just again smooth it in, creating a little bit of grungy messiness here. That's okay. Right. This is non-destructive on your design. You know, if you really don't like it because it's on its own layer, you can always just delete it. But I don't want to do that. So just do that, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my bottom layer and I'm going to select, this is my original layer, and then I'm going to go to invert and I'm going to make sure that my diagonal lines are inside the design, and I'll just go up to my painted design and I'm going to go clear, and what that does is it takes all the pixels from the outside and gets rid of them, which is exactly what we want. So that is not looking too bad, but as I said, we need to go back to this layer here, so select, hide it and go clear, so that it's also still showing. Now I could duplicate this layer and I could change the opacity to something darker, right? And I could reduce that down a bit more and maybe change that one there to overlay. You can play around with these settings until you find something that you like, or maybe you don't want to, but I think it's really worthwhile exploring what there is. Go back to contrast, so that's hard light, soft. Hard light looks, you know, quite nice. So we could end up with it looking like that, and that would be fine. You know, if you were wanting to create a really nice vintage sign, this would be a really good way to do that. I hope you've really found this interesting. In the student notes, there are all the files that I've used to create this design. I've also included some others if you want to try something different. I mean, I've got the ladies, there's the gents, and there's just a few other texts that you can actually try and create your own. I'd really like to see them. Thank you very much for joining and watching.